What's good, family, brethren? You know, man, I wanted to do this video. It's been on my mind to talk about a SHTF scenario, given what's going on in world events right now. There's a lot of escalation going on locally and abroad. A lot of things going on. I just wanted to talk about even the tariffs. It's a lot of things going on, bro. And when I went to the store the other day, there wasn't no eggs. It got me thinking about a purge scenario, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking like this, man. Let's imagine this an SHTF scenario. Let's say, when we look at the world events, we look at the tariffs, we look at Trump basically collapsing the economy of America and starting more wars. The very things that he said and ran on that he would not do. And he criticized Biden for doing. We need to get out of all these stupid wars. So he's a hypocrite. Or either the people or the people that's behind him are really pulling the strings. Because they want to collapse America, bro. From within and from without. Trump single-handedly, in the first 3 months of his presidency, has made the world hate America even more. He has continued to fund the genocide of the Arabs in Palestine, also known as the Palestinians. He's continued to allow funding and to go forward to fight against the Russians through the proxy Ukraine. And he continues to egg on to go to war with Iran with, in most people's opinion, beyond, unless you use a nuclear option, you completely can't win against Iran. So, and then Iran's cool with Russia and China, and they have a tight relationship, all three. Looking at all these factors, America don't look strong. And when I look at all this, then you have the tariffs, which is causing a lot of stress in a lot of different countries. It's making the prices of stuff go up. I don't think that this financial system is fixable because it's all based on, debt, lies, and deceit. It is basically based on force, coercion, bullying. Use the dollar or else we're going to bomb you. Use the dollar or else. What was it, last year the dollar got separated for the first time. Oil is not pegged to the dollar anymore. So therefore, United States is not the petrodollar anymore. We in a transition period of the dollar becoming irrelevant. And at this particular period of time, that's what they're going to do, take you to war, because the money's funny. And war makes a lot of money for the uber rich. So I'm looking at all these pieces to the puzzle. I'm like, as of today, Iran, the United States is talking about they doing peace talks and all this stuff. And I foresee there's a possible false flag happening with the Israeli people creating something, because Netanyahu has to stay in office, man. And the only way he can stay in office is to continue war, genocide, and bombing people. And I don't see that Trump, with all that Jewish money coming in, he I'll give you this money. You gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta, you know what I mean? You got, wink, wink. So all of, Trump is bought and paid for, just like Biden. My thought is that, again, if Trump would have did what he said he was going to do, he was America's last hope. But now he's bringing America down quite fast. He took what Biden did and is escalating it. He took the genocide and the war, funding the Jewish people, and he's accelerated. He's still, well, he's not accelerating more funding to Ukraine, as I understand, to fight the Russians. Now he's separating himself, which is a positive. But again, when they say peace and safety, then what? Sudden destruction, aka, in my opinion, possible false flag. See what I mean? So I was thinking about a scenario. I said, this is probably the okie doke. America is doing a diplomacy with Iran, having talks and all of this. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, some Iranian, you might have some Iranian so-called, let me say so-called Iranian terrorist attack against U.S. embassy in Israel or something. And it'd be some false flag attack. And then all of a sudden, nope. See, we was going, you could just foresee this stuff. See, we was talking to Iran and trying to work things out. And then we showed that Iran can't be trusted. We have to go to war. And Trump, he be talking. He been flip-flopping like a chick, man. So I could easily, man, come on, bro. These people are warmongers, bro. They don't know nothing about peace. What does America know about peace? When has America been peaceful, bro? And America Junior, the Jewish state, what they know about peace, bro? So I can't, bro, I'm just saying, and I'm going to go through in a scenario. Let's go through a scenario. I just wanted to ramble a little bit, but I'm just looking at the world events, and I'll go to an SHTF scenario, but I really foresee a false flag happening, you got the financial collapse. What if an EMP happens? And they blame it on China, right? I mean, these are the masters of deception. Remember that movie that I always promote to you guys, Wag the Dog. Wag the dog, bro. They create crisis. They create false flags. They being watch the movie, you'll see. It's a dope movie. I've probably seen it about 5 times, man. I like to understand the spin doctors. Like how they spin scenarios and stuff. Then you understand how the news be like, yo, you straight up lying to us, bro. Or you're completely, if you only tell us one side of the story and you're completely omitting the other side, is the same as lying. Because I don't even get to hear conflicting points of view. I only get to hear what you're telling me. You know what I mean? So it's messed up, man. But that's essentially the scenario we got ourselves here in America. So I'm just, I'm looking at the scenarios and I'm like, the main thing because the world events are going to happen anyways. You can't really do nothing about that anyways. These are the powers that are supposed to come in conflict in the last days, because Most High said he was going to bring all the nations, in conflict with each other, and they would converge in the Holy Land. You understand me? So it is happening. Everything, that's what I said before, bro. The war in Ukraine is not as big as the war in the Middle East. And it's not even separate, because the same, think about the war in Ukraine. Ukraine is just a proxy of Western Europe and America to fund a war. They're the proxy people, to fight against the Russians. America lost the war, and Ukraine is like, yo, we ain't giving up. And America's like, yo, we're not funding you no more. So I guess Trump had a plan that he presented, and Zelensky said he rejected the plan, you know what I mean? So then you got to think about it. I mean, hey, if he accept the plan, that mean the war is over and he out of power. So both Zelensky and Netanyahu want to keep wars going so they can stay in power. And in my opinion, I think that they will go to different extents. I don't know what extent Ukraine can go to. And I had a dream about Ukraine and a nuclear bomb hitting them or something like that, man. Y'all remember I said that. I don't know if it's going to be permanent or absolute or nothing. I had a dream about that a couple months ago. That Ukraine was like, the troops and stuff was trying to, it was like, I think it was a nuke. It was a big bomb that hit them. It was trying to retreat and cuddle under like kind of like the umbrella of America. And then they got blasted. So, and then Russians was hunting them and stuff. So it could be some nuke that go off in Ukraine, bro. I ain't saying that it will, but we are in very turbulent times. But we must stay strong. So I was thinking about different things, man. When I look at this scenario from today, what is this? April the 24th, 2025. I look at where we at today. So many pieces to the puzzle have been placed unnecessarily. Like, why would Trump go to war with the Houthis in Yemen? Why start another war when your whole sales pitch, snake old sales pitch as it is turning out to be, your whole sales pitch is about stopping war? Well, you started a new war with a group of Arabs that have already been defeating America, the Houthis in Yemen. So you start a new war, right? Or what they call it, military operation or whatever. Why? I thought you was the peaceful president, right? And then you fund more billions to the Israelis, and you're setting up an attack. You're moving your big boats over there to attack Iran, which is Persia, the Medes. And the scripture already say that the Medes are going to destroy Babylon, which is America. So you see these pieces to the puzzle, bro. At the same time, they talking about negotiating with Iran. How you negotiating when you're moving all the military armaments? You see what I mean? In a position, in strike position. Come on, man. They king of the okie doke, man. The white man is the king of the okie doke. You understand me? So I think the Persians, the Iranians, they're ready for a war, man. That's on a big scale. Now, check this out. On a scale that we, from time to time, I'll listen to some of these different scenarios, SHTF scenarios, and I liked some of these scenarios you hear, man. They, week 1, week 2. Let's go with this. Let me just make this up as I go here. So like I said, okay. This is raw, live. I didn't script this. So with all the stuff that's going, I'll just do that as the backdrop. With all the stuff that's going on, you have what if you have let's just go. Also, how can I forget, dude? The financial collapse. Have you seen gold recently? Dude, gold went up to 3,400, I believe. Somewhere around 34. This is fast, bro. That means the dollar is losing power fast. Gold been stagnant, it's been going up, but this is meteoric. It's like just be bullish on gold is what it looked like, man. That's what it looked like. It's very, very, I've never seen this much turbulence. But nevertheless, this is a lot of turbulence. This shows you, like I said, man, I always said, follow the money, follow the gold, and it'll show you how strong or weak the dollar is. And really, the beauty of this is that America's enemies they starting to hate the whore. Everything about America is just about making money. Only reason people really care about America is to make it because America is the standard, the money currency is the standard. You know what I mean? But the world is tired of America, and in 3 months, your homeboy Trump has basically made the world hate America. You're going to put tariffs on the world? Oh, then I'm going to take the tariffs off. It's like, dude, what are you doing, bro? You can't, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be somebody, he's the puppet, and the elite want to destroy America, and they got to destroy it from within, too. Now we're going to get into the scenario. We talked about the tariffs, and that's going to hurt American citizens here. Then all of a sudden we got eggs that ain't there. Oh, we gotta have a crisis with eggs. Oh, we gotta have a crisis with these products. I was thinking about this. Let's say tomorrow, Friday, 25th, January, February, March, April 2025, Friday. Let's say, what do you call it? Let's say everything going good with negotiations, and false flag occurs. And let's say Iran allegedly attacks a U.S. embassy in, in Saudi Arabia or in the state of Israel. All bets are off at that point, because it could be a false flag, but you ain't never going to know anyways, because they're not going to ever tell you. Just like the movie Wag the Dog, false flag happens, or an alleged attack happens. Oh, dozens of Americans have been blasted in the U.S. embassy in the state of Israel. This is horrible. The United States, we were negotiating with Iran in good faith. We were almost to the right negotiations, but we found out that Iran was lied to us and was planning this attack all along. Sure, America bodied their president, but they didn't do anything. But anyway, so now we reluctantly have to stand behind Israel and keep moving forward, and all negotiations have to stop. We really want to come to a peace deal. Oh, then we found out that Iran release is enriching, nuclear material to the nuclear bomb grade that can become dangerous. And we have to go in, and we have to go in. And they do the okie doke. In other words, instead of Iran, they say Iraq. Instead of Iraq, they say Iran has weapons of mass destruction. We got to go in. We got to go in. But some of y'all is old enough to remember that. I remember that crap. Was it 93? Oh, yeah. Saddam Hussein got weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al Qaeda. We got to go in. We got to go in. The American people, oh, yeah, get him. Yeah. He's some brown Arab dude with a beard. Yeah, get him. Yeah. Say, shooting AK-47s in the air. They're savages, according to the white male. Yeah, they're savages. A clean-shaved white dude in a business suit. Yeah, they're savages. We got to go kill these Arabs. So that's what they're thinking. A whole bunch of Arabs chanting and stuff in the middle of the street, shooting AK-47s in the air. Praise to their God and all that kind of stuff. RPGs. We got to go in. It's the same scenario, bro. Same okie doke. Iran has weapons of mass destruction. We got to go in. We got to go in. They're weeks away from a weapon of mass. We got to go in. We got to go in. Same thing, bro. So America says, we got to go in. Talks. It's just a scenario I'm throwing out there. What if this happened? Talks are broken down. America says Trump comes out. We were negotiating with Iran in good faith. Now, reluctantly, I have issued a state of emergency. And that being the case, we're going to have to implement martial law. All right? Martial law on Americans. The Americans pissed off because they know these wars are hoaxes. And now their pockets are being pinched. They had a penny pinch because stuff's getting more expensive because of the unnecessary tariffs that their president that they voted in has put into place. But he was supposed to be the financial dude that was supposed to make America great again. But he making America broke. Making America greatly hated again. So the American people, they understand it's probably a false flag and it's an okie doke, but then prices, the first week to start, the first few days, prices skyrocket so far as your everyday needs. You go up to the dollar, like COVID, you know what I mean? But, people scared, like, man, what's going to happen? But they see the okie doke because they seen the okie doke before with the COVID stuff. Now they're like, they don't believe their government anyway. So the Americans say, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to pile up on my ramen noodles and this and that. I'm going to load up on this because this is real this time. It's financial. Eggs are, $7. You understand me? And so I'm thinking, all right, so the first few days, Americans, they see the okie doke, they figure it's another false flag, but they want to get on with the rest of their life. But they sitting back saying, all right, ain't no we can really do about that. Americans are pissed because Americans like to eat a lot. You understand me? They don't like they missing no meals, so they pile up and start preemptively prepping before the stuff start hitting the fan. Really, oh shoot, the shells become less. The shells become bare. Ramen noodles become more gone. You know what I mean? The canned goods start to be reduced, and people start buying more and more and more because they can kind of foresee stuff is coming. All right, this Iran stuff is getting real, so we need to foresee it. So the Americans, because they like to eat, they go grab more groceries. Groceries start, therefore, because of the preemptive prepping, more of the groceries are not, suppliers can't keep up with this. So now supplies of groceries have been diminished, but they're still there on the shelves and stuff like that. But a lot of Americans already got what they need. They got their toilet paper. They got their toilet paper. They got their canned goods. They got a few cases of bottled water. And they they got their guns. So nothing really happens the first week. You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden, like I said, some kind of attack happened in the state of Israel on a U.S. embassy or something like that. Well, what happens if something happens here at home? Other than, what if an actual attack of some kind happens here in America? What if let's see this happen right here. So because the U.S. embassy was allegedly attacked by Iran, the United States decides to go in and attack Iran with Israel, with the state of Israel, the Jewish people. They decide to go in. They got to go in. They got to go in. Because we can't sit back and be attacked. We got to go in. See, I told you, we negotiated with Iran in good faith, but now they're showing their true colors. We got to go in. We got to go in. Oh, we got to go in. So now they go in with a bombing campaign on Iran, and Iran does their bombing campaign on the state of Israel. And then the foreign nationals, then the sleeper cells that America has within it are activated. The people the 50 or so million illegal immigrants that America has led into this country, many of which are sleeper cell bad dudes. And those dudes get activated. Now you have chaos in the streets of America. Now, whatever number of the 50 million or so illegal immigrants that have been led into the country through Biden and Harris, many of which of these people allegedly already have been notified. In other words, the powers that be know that these are actual sleeper cells. These people, what if they activate and start doing terrorist attacks throughout the country, the United States of America? Sure, America is the largest armed country in the world with citizenry, or just abouts. But then you have an internal conflict, a war. You have people pissed off at America, the leadership of America, feeling that the citizens feel as though they've been led astray, they've been sold some snake oil, and that the powers that be are not doing what they said they was going to do. Chaos ensues on the streets. An EMP attack happens in certain spots throughout the country. Power's off in this area. Whole cities without no power. People rioting, storming the stores to find whatever supplies they can get, while terrorist attacks are going on here and there. A bombing here, a shooting, an arranged tactical shooting here and there by the groups that were allowed into the country, who are sleeping, waiting to be activated, waiting to be instructed. So now the American citizens are in chaos because they are at war with the people, the illegals that have been let into the country, the Asians, many Arabs, many, probably the least of their concern would be the Latinos, but then they do have some gangs, illegals from Africa, every single country, and illegals from Ukraine and from Russia. Illegal, undocumented people who are had bad intentions against the country, all have been let in and been housed by the American taxpayer dollars. So Americans are pissed off about that too. So what happens if the Americans storm the country like they did, storm the White House like they did, what was it, January 6th or something like that? But this time, I'll leave those words to your imagination. So America's in chaos. People, neighborhoods band together to keep other bad people out. But then there's an internal conflict, even within the neighborhoods, even within the apartment complex, even within the same block. So yeah, maybe they'll initially band together to fight against the known bad guys. But again, if these sleeper cells have been activated and they've been your neighbor for 3, 4, 5 years, how do you know who is bad and who's good? People get more hungry. People run out of food. The stress, Americans are used to stress eating. They eat and eat and eat. Their supplies up. Sure, they got 3 weeks of food, but because the American appetite combined with stress, that 3 weeks goes down to a week and a half. And they're stressed. They're like, where are we going to get more food? So then what once was a strong neighborhood fighting against the outsiders, now those neighbors are feuding against one another because neighbors are going to rise up and fight one another for the lack of food, the lack of bread. What happened to solidarity? Well, my kid got to eat, so somebody's going to starve and it ain't going to be my kid. One neighbor says to the next. What about those prepper fortresses that are tucked away, hid away? Well, something that, hey, and they probably will survive. The prepper fortresses, a dozen, 100, 200 people who have been preparing for the collapse. They go to their getaway off in the woods somewhere, a big fortress, and they got multiple armed guards ready to protect and preparing exactly for this. What happens when a horde of people, come out to that place because they heard that they got food? They hold up for a while, but then people find out where they at. So then everybody becomes neighbor against neighbor, one fighting against the other, right next door neighbor, brother against brother, for the lack of food. Food. You got food. He wants some. You got to feed your family. Hey, open the door. 5, a group of 10 armed dudes, and you got, your AR-15, and you got a couple people that know how to shoot them in your house, and they know you got, 3 months of food or something. Or if they don't know, doesn't matter. They might know that you got a certain amount. They see you coming back and forth in a grocery store and say, that guy, Charles, he's just a paranoid dude. Ain't nothing gonna happen. And you made the mistake of telling Charles made the mistake of telling his family members and stuff, hey, it's time to prep. Iran's going to attack Russia. Iran's going to attack America. And we need to prep. We need to get some food. And Charles's family members say, man, he's paranoid. He's paranoid. And Charles thought it was the right thing to do to tell his neighbors, because we need to prepare because Jesus is coming and we need to prepare. And, so they was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll just come to your house, Charles. Charles, I'll come to your house when the stuff hits the fan. Well, that's exactly what they do. Da, 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 da. The bellies is rumbling. They got no more money for weave and makeup. Chicks start getting the 21-day fast plan, fast track to fast skinny, fasting and losing weight, ribs showing. Yes, that means getting the fast track weight loss plan. You ain't got no choice.com. And Charles mistakenly tried to tell those in his circle, hey, you need to prep. And they remember, you know what? I remember old Chuck. He was talking about, my belly's rumbling. I ain't got no money for no weave. The tariffs have doubled the price of weave because they come from China and India. Doubled the price of weave. So I'm going to have to use this weave over and over. And so now Shanquisha take her receding hairline and growling belly, tattoos and bad kids, and big mouth and start yelling, hey, I remember, because Charles told her, don't tell nobody, Shanquisha, that I got extra food. Don't tell nobody. Just everybody need to get their own and prep on their own. Just don't come to my house, Shanquisha. Shanquisha said, nah, that belly start rumbling. She forget all that, what she promised. Because those bastard kids, need to get fed. And her big belly need to get fed because Shanquisha do not live without eating. Shanquisha does a lot of emotional eating. Shanquisha don't know how to go without meals or go without things that she want. For this is Shanquisha's queendom and Karen's kingdom. So many of us now, include myself, probably eat like one big meal, maybe 2 meals a day. We kind of used to suffering without food. And for many of us, it's just kind of came automatically. And we kind of used to fasting and stuff like that. Your average American, and I might need to do that as well, but your average American, look at the waistlines. So in the beginning, they'll think I'll go ahead and store up some food, but they don't know how to filter water. They don't know how to add certain minerals to the water to make it good. They don't really even drink water, a lot of them. They might drink iced tea with high fructose corn syrup in it, pop, and all these things that destroy the body by messing with the sugar intake levels and insulin resistance. But the average American ain't on the health stuff. But they're going to be on filling their bellies. So it might be a good idea to, while you can, get some of that top ramen. But Charles, he went around trying to be a crusader and trying to save everybody. It's time to prep. It's time to prep. And he went around like Noah before the ark flooded. Hey, you need to get it right. And so he wanted to be Paul Revere, and save souls. And in the evangelism of trying to save souls, from hunger, those same hungry souls are going to come to Charles's house and pay him a visit. One needs to be mindful of as to who he tells the intimate details about what he's doing so far as preparation. What will happen when that horrible day happens? SHTF happens. So now people are going from house to house. An EMP happens. Maybe not a countrywide, but in this state, that state, no power. No power. No flushing toilets. No running water. People stinking. Disease. People can't get clean, and their stress levels are increased. Therefore, their immune systems are decreased. And whatever disease and viruses in them comes out. She had a cold sore that she was using some medication, and she got some sores down there. She got a funky yeast infection that she was keeping under wraps with a certain amount of medications. Those medications aren't available when stuff hits the fan. They went in to the stores, grabbed asthma medicine. People went in, breaking in, grab asthma medicine. Grab this, grab pain meds, grab psychiatric medications, grab what they wanted, went in, blasted it, forced their way in, and took what they needed. They grabbed, to keep their babies hydrated, they grabbed that liquid, I forgot the name of it. They got everything they wanted, cotton swabs, because now it's the collapse of America, internal collapse of America. The purge. Then you have crazy dudes out here who are ultra sex deprived, dudes who are locked up. Now they find a way, they find out, oh, yo, like what happened in spurts in COVID, some of the jail criminals were let go. And that wasn't even a real complete collapse. We're talking about power outages. You got guys in prison locked up behind females, probably a majority of them, locked up because they did something stupid behind a female, or they got locked up for child support, a large amount of them. And they seething and angry thinking about this hoe that put them in jail. And they've been in there 3 years or 90 days with a dude that got a life sentence, locked up in the same cell. And these monster dudes, angry, bitter, monsters. Power outage, what do you think is going to happen? I saw a movie. What was the name of that movie? I think it was a Nicolas Cage movie. He was a crooked cop. I think it was called Bad Cop. And there was a flood or something. I think it was in New Orleans. Yeah, he was a super crooked cop. And it was a flood in New Orleans. And it was like this one prisoner that was locked in a jail cell. And it was actually, it was a crooked movie, I ain't gonna lie, but I like Nicolas Cage movies. But anyways, I don't want to spoil it for you, but just tell you this one scene. I don't remember how it ended. But Nicolas Cage was a bad cop that did good thing, this one good thing here. And it was one dude that was locked up in a prison cell, but the water was rising and rising and rising. And I think he threw the keys to the prisoner to let himself out of there or something like that. So the prisoner was able to get out of the jail cell. See, in an emergency, they're not just going to leave. The prisoners are, I don't know. Very likely, if we have a power outage, the prisoners are going to find a way to get out anyways. Some kind of real emergency where it's life-threatening and the terrorist attacks. The guards are going to go home to take care of their families. And what if you have also people who are foreigners who are dressed up in American Homeland Security gear? Deception will likely be on an all-time high You would think this guy is a police officer or a U.S. military person. Find out he's just one of the sleeper cells who is similar, like a government agent, like a mercenary or something from another country with an American military outfit on. You think, oh, whew, Homeland Security, we're safe. Next thing you know, he's saying, hey, how much food you get? Deception will very likely be at an all-time high. Now, this is just my scenario. Deception will be at an all-time high. In the beginning, people will group up to fight against outside force. But after those bellies start rumbling and resources run low, neighbor will fight against neighbor. And good old Chuck, good old Charles, he will be a target because he opened his fat mouth and let everybody know what he got. So because neighbor is going to fight against neighbor, many people will be forced to survive to take their bug out bag, if they got one, and run through the hills. It's 5 dudes. Hey, you fight for what you got or you leave, and you just go out on the road. The Road movie comes into mind. Now you're out there just depending upon the good graces of the Most High. You see, at the end of the scenario is that naked you came into the world and naked you're going to leave. And it's about really your relationship with the Most High God, Yah and the Son. And it's about the favor credits that you have with Him. Right now, we all sit in a scenario where we're chilling. We got AC blowing. You know, you got a nice fat belly. Your woman is happy because you're providing money for her. She can sit back and be at ease and comfort. You got a job you go to, get paid, nice car, nice house. What was life like before there was electricity? What was life like before there were cars? What was life like before there was automotion and trains, trucks? These are scenarios we need to think about. Because in a matter of a few days or weeks, we could be thrusted back into worse times than that. Because at least in those times, people were used to not having all of these. What was life like without social media? What was life like without social media? These are things, the EMP strikes. And what if it's an EMP and financial collapse, hyperinflation? And number 3, the internal bad illegal people. I'm not saying all illegal people here are bad. They might, everybody got a story. I will just say that you got the ones who are going to do bad stuff. And you got local citizens of America who are going to do bad stuff. And it's going to be crazy. You got guys, like I said, who are locked up for bad charges. Maybe they'll visit those who have put them in jail, both the system, and they'll visit the women who have put them in jail, and unjust cops and unjust judges. These are all scenarios that will likely happen. So just sit back and think about all these different things. I just wanted to dedicate a video specifically to like a scenario, being that we have all these various things going on right now, man. I think that in the past, we would ask the question, what will the it be? What will it be that will bring us into SHTF? Will it be a singular event? Will it be AMP? what we're seeing right before us at the door is that daily, as a woman emotionally like the waves of the sea, so is the waves, the decision making of Donald Trump and how he moves. He's putting tariffs, then he's taking them off. Then he's going to keep them on China, though. Then he's just you're going to take them off for 90 days. Then he's going to warn Iran that you cannot have a nuclear bomb. Now we're sitting at the table talking to Iran. Oh, we had good talks, a couple of good talks with Iran. Oh, but now, listen, I can come into the first day and stop the war in one day. It's a good sales pitch. Hey, bro, it's like 90 days, right? And you ain't stopped the war. Bro, I'm telling you. Oh, yeah. Then you look at gold, which is since, I think gold went up, what was it about? I don't know the percentage since Trump in the office. The percentage that it went up and the stock market has went down. Do you see a coincidence, bro? I think this dude is set up to be one who really destroys America's infrastructure. The sales pitch was quite 180. It was 180 degrees difference from what is going on. One good thing he's doing, I don't really care one way or the other, because I see it as the okie doke anyway, is a Russian war. He's saying, at least he's going and negotiating with the Russians on one hand, right? But on the other hand, this guy is like, he's not consistent, bro. On one hand, he's negotiating with the Russians to stop the war in Ukraine. But then he's, on the other hand, talking about bombing the living daylights out of Iran, who is, so on one hand, he's talking about stopping the war in Ukraine. In other words, stop killing and fighting, funding the killing of Russians, which Biden started. On the other hand, he's talking about continue to fund a war that will go against Iran, who is Russia's buddy and China's buddy. So are you really looking for peace, or what are you looking for? It's like, it seems like it's no strategy, nothing consistent. And the markets show this. So what will happen? I don't know. These are just some scenario I wanted to drop. I think it's very, very realistic. What will be the it? The it hit the fan. What is the it? Some people say it's going to be a nuclear bomb. Some people say it's going to be a financial collapse. Some people say it's going to be a disease. Some people say it's going to be this. Some people say it's going to be that. Quite honestly, I have prepared my mind for all the above simultaneously and in spots and spurts. We're at an inflamed point here in America, in this world, really. Well, really, quite honestly, one false flag could really, it's like you got the whole room filled with gas, natural gas from the stove. Y'all seen the movie, and then they light a flame and then the whole place blows up. That flame represents the trigger event. That's chaos. The chaos comes from that one flame. That's where you're at. I mean, everything is on. It wasn't that bad before Trump got in. I mean, yeah, Biden was progressing the war towards degeneracy, but Trump comes in and don't do nothing no different for 3 months. Don't turn nothing off except for a few days. He just continued the same stuff. So why should we think they're any different? Prepare your mind, brothers. This stuff is real. I think the main thing we're going to have to focus on, eventually Russia going to attack America with North Korea and these various, and it's nuked this bitch, because that's what's prophesied in scripture. But the internal stuff, like the Purge movies, the internal scenarios, these are things we have to think about more so than, the big geographic politics. Man is going to be fighting against man, having their own war here in America. A United States purge war. is what's going to happen. And that's what we on the verge of, man. That's what we in. America is in a war with Russia, a proxy war. Tens of thousands of Russians are dead because America has funded the war against Russia through Ukraine. Russia hasn't forgot about that. 1.4 million Ukrainian soldiers are dead because America is funding the war. And the Russians haven't forgot about that. So, very likely, events can take place here in America. Where are you going to be at when stuff hit the fan? In your opinion, what will the stuff that will hit the fan be? Will it be a viral outbreak? Will it be the collapse of the dollar and hyperinflation? Don't you see all these things, scenarios are possible? Will it be activation of, a percentage of those 50 million illegal, undocumented aliens? Yeah. Will it be, what will it be? Something to think about. So hopefully I have triggered your mind to think about some different possibilities here. Quite honestly, bro, will it be neighbor fighting against neighbor? Absolutely. For the lack of food. You could depend on that. How it all play out, we don't know specifically. But I'm watching, peeping game, seeing what's going on. Just want to drop the scenario out there for the brothers to take heed to and see what's popping. And I think we in them times, man, you got to watch, do the best preparing you can do. I think eventually, if you get to the level of war, neighbor versus neighbor, and you delete him or he delete you, you know, that's a scenario that I see happening. What can trigger neighbor against neighbor? Like money, food don't buy as much. Scripture tell you, for want of food, people gonna kill each other. Neighbors gonna kill each other. Because right now, yeah, we still got social media. You know, a fat chicken go grab her, 12-piece bucket of chicken. You know what I mean? And, everybody can go get their cornflakes and Fruit Loops, you know what I mean? And high fructose sugary foods, you understand me? There's gonna come a time when beans and rice gonna be a luxury. Ramen noodles gonna be a luxury. That crap ain't good for it. I got a little bit of that, man. But it's so cheap it's cheap at the Arab store, but it tastes good, man. But that crap ain't good for you, man. It's better to just get some regular noodles. Ramen noodles taste good, but that crap ain't good for. I ain't getting a lot of that stuff no more. But if we talking about just survival, I still don't want to eat it. Because real time, well, we talking about survival. I mean, yeah. Better than nothing. It do taste good, but I'm more so thinking about noodles, pasta, rice, beans, salt, pepper, basics. Beans, if you could dehydrate them, they can last for a while. Cook them and dehydrate them. You just I have eaten some of my reconstituted beans. I ain't ate them in a minute, but I got cans of this and that. But quite honestly, I'm not really looking. I'm looking at it like this. What's the mind state to have in these times? I think the best prep you can have is to understand that everything's temporary. And naked you came into this world, and naked you're going to leave. And when you understand that, because even if you look at, saints in the Bible, they had to flee because of persecution. Savages tried to kill them and stuff. You see what I mean? So you have to think about it. Even the Messiah he had no certain place to lay his head, so he wasn't here like to build his kingdom. Nothing wrong with making this money. And these being a refugee may not even be in your future, you know. However, I think the mentality, when I say refugee, pilgrim, I would say pioneer, but a pilgrim. Because the scripture does tell you be a pilgrim in the earth in those days. Maybe you won't have to, but, you know, you really look at it, we're all pilgrims in the earth anyways. We come to the earth, you know, born of our mother, put into her through our father, then we birth into this world, and eventually we die. And we just going through this mug, but the earth gonna last forever. But we just temporary specks on the earth. You see what I mean? On a physical level. Then our soul go back to the Most High. But man, you really think about it, like, everything is temporary. So I look at it that way now. I think that's a very sobering way to look at it. Not to be depressed, but to understand that everything, hey, you know, it is what it is. So there's a possibility, you know, your neighbors, they ain't got no food, and hey, they fat, they aggressive, they don't like you anyways. Right? So, you know, his wife can't eat. So I'm looking at these different people's personalities right now. I'm like, okay, this chick over here. I'm looking at the personalities and how people's tense already kind of thing. These people play their music super loud and they don't like them, but they be gossiping about them and angry towards them and all that. And people don't like people. So whether you have, were you close with your neighbors, like physical proximity, or you have like a big homestead, you know, you have less neighbors to deal with if you got a big homestead, but you got more property to protect. It's kind of like everybody's susceptible. I think the cities will be not really good to stay in because so many people and there's so little resources. So far as, I don't know about the cities, because the reality is that you got a whole bunch of resources in the city, but then you got a lot of people competing for the resources. So it's kind of like, and the resources will be used up. So then people will probably start fanning out into the rural areas, suburbs and stuff. You know, the white folk area, you know what I mean? And then you got the city, then you got the suburbs, and then you got the rural area where people got acres upon acres. Suburbs around here, man, all these rich white folk around here. I mean, like $3 million houses, and, you know, on the lake. It's a lot of those up you know, a little bit north, but yeah, man, they got a lot of those. But the point is, people gonna fan out the city and eventually get there. You know, it's gonna be kind of like the road movie, man. That's how I look at it when it comes down to it. So it's gonna be about you and the Most High. And this time, is that really a time to be trying to accumulate bitches? You know, I mean, you really think about it. I mean, you know, it's something to think about. That's its own scenario, isn't it? But anyway, brothers, hopefully this has sparked some thought process and help you prepare your mind and spirit, physical body for the times to come. Hopefully these scenarios have encouraged you and empowered you. Leave a message, email me, or leave a comment, whatever. And if you want to support the channel, go ahead and do so using the Cash App in the description. Much respect to you, brethren. Peace.